Hi friends, this is called The Mitten. This is one of those great books that have been around forever, but we love to read. Let's get it opened. It has little mittens inside that kind of tell what comes next. Once there was a boy named Nicky who wanted his new mittens made out of wool as white as snow. And in the mitten here, we'll kind of tell you what happens next. Here's his grandma, and she's picking up white yarn. At first, his grandma Baba did not want to knit white mittens. If you drop one in the snow, she warned, you'll never find it. But Nicky wanted snow white mittens, and finally, Baba made them. After she finished, she said, when you come home, first I will look to see if you are safe and sound, but then I will look to see if you still have your snow white mittens. So off Nicky went, and it wasn't long until one of his snow white mittens had dropped in the snow and was left behind. Something's coming. A mole, tired from tunneling along, discovered the mitten and burrowed inside. It was cozy and warm and just the right size, so he decided to stay. He's going inside. What comes next? A snowshoe rabbit came hopping by. He stopped for a moment and admired his white coat. It was then that he saw the mitten, and he wiggled in, feet first. The mole didn't think there was room for both of them, but when he saw the rabbit's big kickers, he moved over. Next, a hedgehog came snuffling along. Having spent the day looking under wet leaves for things to eat, he decided to move into the mitten and warm himself. The mole and the rabbit were bumping and jostled, but not being ones to argue with someone covered in prickles, they made room. As soon as the hedgehog disappeared into the mitten, a big owl, attracted by the commotion, swooped down. He then decided to move in also. The mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog grumbled, but when they saw the owl's flitting talons, they quickly let him in. Look how big that mitten's getting. You think it would fit on somebody's hand with all those animals in there? Up through the snow appeared a badger. His eyed the mitten and began to climb in. The mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, and the owl were not pleased. There was no room left, and when they saw his diggers, they gave him room in the thumb. It started snowing, but the animals were snug in the mitten. Look how big it's getting. And a waft of warm steam arose in the air, and a fox trotted by, stopping to investigate. Just as the sight of the cozy mitten made him feel drowsy, a fox poked his muzzle in. When the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, the owl, and the badger saw his shiny teeth, they gave Fox lots of room. What do you think's coming next? A bear lumbered by. He spied the mitten all plumped up. Not wanting to be left out in the cold, he began to nose his way in. The animals were packed in tightly as could be, but what animal would argue with a bear? Look how much bigger that is getting. The animals swelled, and the mitten stretched, and it was pulled and bulged to many times its size, but Baba's good knitting held fast. Along came a meadow mouse. Look how tiny that mouse is compared to the rest of the animals. No bigger than an acorn, and she wiggled into one space left and made herself comfortable on top of the bear's nose. The bear, tickled by the mouse's whiskers, gave out an enormous sneeze, achoo, and forced the sneeze, shot the mitten up into the sky and scattered the animals in all directions. On his way home, Nicky saw a white shape in the distance. It was his long-lost mitten silhouetted against the blue sky. As he ran to catch his snow-white mitten, he saw Baba's face in the window. First, she looked to see if he was safe and sound, and then she looked to see if he had his new mitten. And look at that. There was a big one and a small one. Why is that one big, she wonders. Will she ever know? Bye, friends.